What have I got? It was a nice lift back there. But you got a lot to learn.
Crap.
You stick with me and I'll teach you a few things.
No offense, but I don't even know you.
My friends call me Sully.
Nathan Drake.
Mr. Sullivan. And Mr. Drake.
Would you tell me what's so special about that ring?
It belongs in my family.
Inscribed with Sir Francis Drake's motto.
Greatness from small beginnings.
So what is it you're after?
It's just a little historical research.
I feel so extraordinary. Something's got a hold on me. This feeling of a sudden sense of liberty. I used to think that the day would never come. See the light in the shade of the morning sun. My morning sun is the drug that brings me near to the childhood I lost, replaced by fear.
Welcome back to Entertainment Talk. Today I want to talk about the success of Naughty Dog, the developer themselves, and talk about three of their biggest game franchises: Crash Bandicoot, The Last of Us, and the Uncharted series of games. They have also done Jak and Daxter, which I do want to talk about as well, but I mainly wanted to talk about the games that I liked from them, which is those three franchises. Now, just to be kind of clear and everything, I don't think the Jak and Daxter games are bad. I recognise them as good games. I just prefer other platformers, namely Crash Bandicoot, which is from the same developer. So I just wanted to kind of make that clear as well. It would be a bit weird if I did, this Power of Naughty Dog podcast and then slated the Jak and Daxter games or Jak and Daxter games. But no, I recognise them as good games. They're just not really quite for me. But again, when it comes to the exact same developer, I much prefer the orange little Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot himself. So I also wanted to do this episode to tie into this week's special 50th episode of Let's Play Sundays, where I will have released 2 Crash Bandicoot Let's Play videos and 2 Last of Us 2 Let's Play videos, so you can look at both of those, or all 4 of those. Those will all already be released by the time you hear this, so go and have a look out for those as well. But even before I planned that episode, I did particularly want to do a podcast on Naughty Dog and just how they're now basically my favourite developer. I think they're one of the best in the industry, definitely. Sure, not everyone's going to like what they put out, namely Last of Us 2. Of course, there's been a lot of controversy around the game. I'm not here to dive into that. I'm here to talk about the success of Naughty Dog. But at the end of the day, whether it's Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted or Last of Us games, not everybody likes everything anyway. So whether it's going to be Last of Us 2 or Crash Bandicoot 3 or Uncharted 2 or whatever the situation is going to be, not everybody likes Naughty Dog games, and that's perfectly fine. If you play these games and you don't like them, that's okay. It's perfectly fine. But if you're in the same boat as me and you really like them, then yeah, we've got some games to enjoy and to talk about, of course. So yeah, going back to 1996, Crash Bandicoot was first released, of course, on the PlayStation, and yeah, they've made games for the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4 as well. The Jak and Daxter games were on the PlayStation 2, Last of Us and Uncharted on PS3, Last of Us 1 remastered on PS4, Last of Us 2 on PS4, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, which I know is not from Naughty Dog, but yeah, still on PS4 and that. So yeah, they've covered a couple of decades worth of games, and I just think that they've been massively successful with all of it. I don't think any of those are bad games, and like I said, I don't think that the Jak and Daxter games are bad either. They're just not particularly to my taste, but I recognise them as good games. Maybe I need to go back and try them out. I sort of feel like I do. It feels a little bit weird in that way of... I've really enjoyed the Crash games, really enjoyed Last of Us, really enjoyed Uncharted, all those games. Even the spin-off, the Lost Legacy game, I thought was great as well. So yeah, for Naughty Dog, for me, Jak and Daxter's a bit of this weird kind of miss situation. So maybe I'll go back and check them out. I do have them on PS4, the copies that I own. So I might just have to give them a second chance, if you will. So, but yeah, I mean, one of the first notes that I've got here, we'll jump straight into things. Dominating in different genres. So you've got platformers, which is with the Crash Bandicoot 1, 2 and 3. You've got Jak and Daxter 1, 2 and 3, which are platformers with shooting, but they're still very much platformer games. You still have to climb around and do different things. You've then got your Hollywood blockbuster action style type of things, your sort of Indiana Jones type of video games with the Uncharted series, and then of course you do get into deeper shooting mechanics, certainly more with third-person action with the Uncharted games. They've dominated that. You then go to the post-apocalyptic genre, again with third-person shooting, but changing the genre still, or one of the genres, of course, because it's still... Last of Us and Uncharted are still both third-person action games, but they've got different themes around them. You've got one that's about thieves and treasure and all this sort of stuff, and then you've got one that's about clickers and runners and enemies and that sort of thing in a post-apocalyptic survival world. So yeah, I think doing multiple games in those different genres, and all of those games I think are brilliant. Crash Bandicoot 1 is, Crash Bandicoot 2, Crash Bandicoot 3, of course you've got Crash Team Racing as well, so they've also dominated in the, or been really successful in the kart racing series. Of course it did get remastered by one of the, I think it was Beenox that did Nitro Fueled. I think that was the developer. You've got Toys for Bob, you've got Vicarious Visions and Beenox, the developers of those recent remasters for the Crash games and the Spyro games and things like that. But yeah, you add kart races to the mix, so you got 4 different genres that they've dominated in, been really, really successful in, and I just think it's a testament to them. And they've come out again in 2020 this year to a more controversial game, arguably their most controversial game and one of the most controversial games in recent memory. Some people hate it, some people love it, some people are somewhere in the middle. I myself love Last of Us 2, reviewed it a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was a couple of weeks ago. And it just goes to show the as the title suggests, the power of Naughty Dog. And I sort of just had this sort of like kind of realization that once I finished Last of Us 2, and I thought, okay, I really enjoyed the Crash games. They're some of my favourite games. You've got the childhood nostalgia there for me as well. The Uncharted games, which I did miss initially on PS3 because I didn't have one. I'd switched over to Xbox 360 for some reason. I think it was because my friends at the time had Xboxes and I was playing online games with them. But I did initially miss the Uncharted games. I heard really, really good things about them from other people that I knew that were playing them. So I never doubted them, but I just never was there from day one. In between that, you've got this kart racer game, which I really, really enjoyed. I never was as much into Crash Team Racing as I was with the platformer games, the normal Crash games. But that's just, the type of player I am. I just prefer the platformer games over the kart racer games. I still enjoy Crash Team Racing a lot. Still really, really enjoy what they did with the remaster, or what Beenox did with the remaster. But nonetheless, basically the same game. So that was really good as well. And then going into the PS3 era, you've got going into the PS2 era as well. You've got the Jak and Daxter games, which I kind of missed a little bit at the time. They were sort of around me, if you get what I mean. Like, some of my family had played them, and I played some of them here and there, but never really properly. But that was just the series with them that had never quite clicked with me. But I have always found Jak and Daxter themselves to be fascinating, interesting characters. I never sort of looked at Jak and Daxter and was like, no, I'm completely uninterested. But yeah, just as recently, I think last year I tried those 3 games and just didn't quite click, but still recognise them as great games. So
Hey guys, what's up? This is Donnie, and I host the Adulting with Donnie podcast. And this is not the show to listen to if you're trying to be a better adult. I started this podcast as a way to offload some thoughts that I have throughout the week. My topics vary widely every week. Movies I've seen, guns and gun control, sex, people that are stupid, why I don't care about celebrity opinions, TV shows, snowmobiling. The list goes on and on. I'm always taking topic suggestions from fans of the show too. So join me each week on Adulting with Donnie as I pour some bourbon and allow you to see the inner workings of the mind of a madman. Live free and rant hard.
I'm Christy.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are Killer Fun. We explore the intersection of crime and entertainment every other week.
For as long as people have been communicating, they have been talking about who did what to whom, and is that socially acceptable?
Because the boundaries of society,
crime,
and entertainment have always gone hand in hand.
The more salacious,
or weird,
the better. From books and movies
to television shows and games,
we look at how life and art imitate and inform one another.
And we can't get together and not laugh. So let's face it, there's going to be laughing.
Killer Fun is available anywhere you listen to podcasts, so join us.
Today's sponsor is Kualu. If you'd like to get started with a domain name and a website today, just click on the link in the show notes and that will take you over to Kualu to get started. They also have a live support chat system that you can use, which is in the bottom right hand corner. So get started with a new website and domain name today with Kualu. Hey everybody, if you would like to get the ad-free versions of all of our podcasts and support Entertainment Talk along the way, all you need to do is head over to patreon.com/entertainment talk. Sign up either as a creator or as a Patreon. There's no difference there. That's just the option for either becoming a creator now or just staying as a patron for the moment. And then all you need to do is support us at the $1 level tier. That will get you access to all of the ad-free podcasts that we've done in the past, and get you access to all the ad-free podcasts in that month as well. So it's a great way to support us on Entertainment Talk and to get rid of the ads and get your ad-free podcasts. You can also become a patron at the $3 level tier. That gets you access to ad-free podcasts and allows you to redeem a review of a TV show or a film of entirely your choice. That's one per month for either a TV show or a film review, which is at the $3 level tier. As always, thank you very much for listening. Back to the show. And then you go into, like I said, with the post-apocalyptic games. They started with Last of Us, and you introduced Joel and Ellie, and that was a really great swan song for the PS3. I think that was the last big PS3. I don't know if it was definitely the last exclusive for PS3, but it was their last big game in 2013, and then pushing into the PS4. Last of Us 2 won't quite be the last PS4 exclusive, because we still have Ghost of Tsushima in a couple of weeks' time. It's actually not very far away at all. So you got that coming soon as well. But I just think that they deserve a lot of credit from what they've done. I think to switch genres like that 3 times basically, but still with Uncharted and Last of Us sticking with the third-person action stuff. I think that they deserve more credit than they kind of get. I mean, at the moment, the conversation around Naughty Dog is, of course, like, you know, all the political stuff around Last of Us 2 and some of the backlash and things like that, which is really, really unfortunate. But I just think that they really knocked it out of the park. But yeah, just in terms of then switching genres and just being completely successful with that, it makes me interested to think, well, first of all, what's the future for this studio? Like, will they go back to Uncharted? There's obviously that I think it's a London studio which has been in the works for quite some time. They've been rumoured to take over, well, not take over Uncharted, but do a new Uncharted game. I don't think, obviously, they won't go back to Crash Bandicoot class with Activision now, so that's kind of out of their hands. They could revisit Jak and Daxter, I suppose. There was this little blooper kind of video, actually. I think it was Ashley Johnson and somebody else for some Last of Us 2 behind the scenes stuff. And someone made a joke about, like, oh, that's Jak and Daxter 4. So that could be interesting, you know, a revival for that kind of series. I mean, Spyro's been remastered, Crash has been remastered, you've got a new Crash game on the way, Ratchet and Clank is making a comeback, which I hope that they remaster those games. But yeah, in terms of the platformer genre, there's certainly a little bit of space for Jak and Daxter, I think, to make some kind of comeback. Will that be Naughty Dog's decision to go back to that? They've got a few options, of course. They could still obviously do their own Uncharted game again, do an Uncharted 5 or a Lost Legacy 2. I'd quite like to see Chloe and Nadine again. Chloe and Nadine could also be included in Uncharted 5, of course, but yeah, I wouldn't mind a Lost Legacy 2. I think that would be pretty good. Whether it's going to be some DLC for Last of Us 2, which at the moment they've said they got no plans for, but they could change their mind if they come up with an idea. They did the Left Behind thing. Previously, you've got will they do like a Last of Us 3? Is there some kind of other thing to work on? We do know that with Neil Druckmann, the director of Last of Us Part 2, that he is working with, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that did Chernobyl on the Last of Us TV series. I know that that's going to be some of their focus, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Naughty Dog come up with next, and maybe they switch genres again, maybe they do something completely different which we don't expect. Because I mean, when some of us were playing Crash Bandicoot in the 90s, or watching other people play the games, or whatever the situation may be, did we anticipate that, like, okay, in 20-something years' time, this development studio would make a very successful post-apocalyptic zombie, not zombies exactly, but zombie-esque type of game? Did we think that they could come out with, a different kind of platformer character with Jak and Daxter, which is something a bit sort of darker? Did we think that they could come out with this Hollywood esque game with Uncharted? I don't know if any of us really kind of anticipated that. And I'm not saying that Naughty Dog is the only one that's capable of switching genres, but like, you look at Crash Bandicoot and then you look at Last of Us 2, you've got a completely different game there. I mean, less so obviously with Uncharted and Last of Us. You've still got the third person shooter aspect, and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool to see what they come up with next. I'd love to see them do one other thing with Last of Us. I don't know if that's going to be, like I said, a sequel or DLC or some kind of prequel in like one of the previous time kind of periods for the game. We'll have to kind of wait and see in that. But it's going to be a few more years, I think, before you hear from them. It makes me interested to see what Neil Druckmann is going to do, because he's obviously going to be focusing on, okay, who do we cast for this Last of Us TV series on HBO? So you got that to consider, but then what will his involvement be with like the next Naughty Dog game? Will he take like a slight step back because he's focusing on Last of Us TV series? I'm not saying he can't work on two things at once. He can, of course, but it'll be interesting to see how he kind of balances that and stuff and that sort of thing. So yeah, just wanted to give Naughty Dog some praise for being able to switch genres multiple times and tell these completely different stories but really successfully, and yeah, just can't wait to see what they do next and everything. I know some people do hate them right now for what they've done with Last of Us, but opinions are opinions. It's totally fine if you've got an opinion, as long as it's a polite opinion, because there's some very rude and nasty people out there at the moment. But yeah, the less said about them, the better, I suppose. The less said about the rude people, the better, of course. But yeah, we'll see what they decided to do in the future. I've not got too much else to say here necessarily. I do think I need to probably go back to the Jak and Daxter games and give them another try, and just try and see sort of a bit more of the Naughty Dog DNA that's kind of in there. But for me, just when it comes to, if I'm sitting there playing Jak and Daxter, I'm thinking, okay, there's another platformer character that I love a lot more that has been made into 3 games that I just prefer, I suppose. But yeah, maybe I just need to give Jak and Daxter another chance and see where that kind of takes me. So, but there we go. I've not got too much else to say, so I just wanted to kind of celebrate Naughty Dog a bit. They are my, I don't know about best developer, because you've got big ones out there like Rockstar and some other ones that make some really, really successful games, but I definitely think that they are probably my favourite studio. I mean, they've made the game that I think is my favourite game, which is Crash Bandicoot 3, and they've made two of the best games I think that I've played, Last of Us 1 and 2 as well. So yeah, good stuff from Naughty Dog. So we will see what comes of them in the future. But what do you guys think of Naughty Dog? Do you not like the direction that they've gone in? Do you like the Jak and Daxter games more? What do you think that they've done best? What do you think that they've done worst? What do you think of their just ability to switch genres, like I said, all that sort of thing surrounding Naughty Dog. What do you want to see them do next? What do you think that they're going to do next? What do you think of Neil Druckmann's kind of, I suppose, focus in terms of what is Naughty Dog going to do next? And he's working on a TV show now. So we shall see. You can let me know all those thoughts, feelings, questions, comments, Matthew@entertainmenttalk.org, Twitter, eTalkUK, there's a contact page and information in your show notes. So have a look out for that as well. And you can also send in feedback for anything related to Entertainment Talk as well. So thank you all very much for listening, and in the meantime you can find everything that we've got on entertainmenttalk.org. If you want to support the podcast and support Entertainment Talk, we're on Patreon. That's for the Instant Podcast listeners as well. The Instant Podcast gets put on there. So do the ad-free podcasts, and that's also where you can get different review options as well. So check out the $1 and $3 level tiers on Patreon. Amazon affiliate link, you can shop on Amazon where you can get a small cut of what you spend, but it won't cost you extra. iTunes feeds, you can rate, review and subscribe to those. Don't forget to check out David on Geektown on iTunes as well, Geektown Radio on Tuesdays, and geektown.co.uk for your up-to-date and reliable TV and film news. Bex is on Twitch as well. You can check her out, Trista Bytes, BYTES. So there's that as well that you can have a look at. Go and subscribe to her, follow her, get involved with all that cool fun stuff over there. Me and David also stream sometimes on Twitch as well, so you can check those out. And of course look out this week for this special Let's Play Sunday episode. Well, you don't have to look out for it, it's already out. Go and check it out on the website for the Crash Bandicoot videos and for the Last of Us 2 videos. So thank you all very much for listening, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.